Hey, this is Linda with Ink Stamp and Scrap, and today I'm going to do a recap of the Facebook Live projects we made last night. This is the beginning of the Facebook Live we did last night. I made this card and it inspired all the projects that we made during the live last night. I do a live broadcast from Facebook every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so hopefully you can join me next week. This is the new letter set from Stampin' Up. I layered them 3 times with white and once with red underneath. And then this heart is from the Stitched Hearts die set. And these are just all of the stitched rectangles alternating in black and white. After I made this card, I just wanted to keep doing the whole layering the nested dies that Stampin' Up has in different colors. And that's what inspired this card front, actually, that we finished off last night. I still need to complete it as a card, just gotta throw it on a card base. But what I did is I took the nested stitched shapes, and first I cut them in all these different colors and put them together. I'm gonna show you a trick for doing that in just a moment. And then I also used my embossing mat and pad and ran them through several times to get the background of this stamp on the Coastal Cabana cardstock. These are also the same die set that these letters are from, but this time I die cut 3 white and 1 black and layered the black on top. So those are just a couple of different ways to do this. So my trick for making the circles, or any shape really, to layer like this, if you want to be able to manipulate it and use it, is to cut a solid piece to start and then make all your nested dies. This, like I said, these are from the Stitched Shapes die set, but then this one is from the Layering Circles. It's the largest circle and it matches the largest Stitched Shape circle perfectly. So then I just put glue all over the other side of this solid circle and laid my circles down, and I was good to go, and I could manipulate these any way I wanted to. So let's take another set of the nested circles that I did in more of a rainbow fashion. I just mixed and matched the shapes and just made 4 different sets. And this is the card that we made last night, but I'll show you how I put that together. So this time, I'm still gonna use the Itty Bitty greeting set. We're gonna use the Happy Birthday from that, but I'm going to use a Daffodil Delight card, 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to use a piece of Granny apple green that I cut with the rectangles that we're going to use, the rectangle stitch dies that we're going to use in the next project. And then we're going to use 2 of these circles to cut them down and fit them inside the stitching on this rectangle. So to do the cutting, I do need my guillotine cutter. So I'm going to bring that in, and all I did was cut off a little bit. I'm not being scientific about this at all. And then I cut off a little bit more to give myself a 90-degree angle. And once I had that in both of the circles, then I sort of started putting the card together, and I could decide where I needed to cut maybe just a little bit more. So for both circles, I just cut a portion off to give me a 90-degree angle on each. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to fit them in. And then we'll go in one corner. I'm going to go ahead and get these both set with snail. All right, there we go. So now this one's gonna go up in this corner, and I'm just lining it up with the stitching on the side. All right. Now we need to make our greeting. I'm gonna use the Happy Birthday from Itty Bitty Greetings, and I'm gonna use Poppy Parade ink on my Whisper White cardstock. Just gonna tap this down, hold for a second or two just to make sure it soaks in there nice. Oh, yes, okay. I have my punches right here. There we go. What would I do without this classic label punch? Just makes all these little greetings look so nice and clean. There we go. I'm in my new office now. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw my IGTV with my tour. And in my video station, I have the Stampin' storage containers, which have been so helpful. I keep my punches in one when I'm making a video and my ink pads in another. Just makes it really easy. I seem to not lose things as much as I used to. All right, let's grab some dimensionals. I'm going to use the mini ones on the back of the greeting, and then we'll use the, actually probably don't need that many. I'm just going to use 3 towards the center. And we'll put the 4th one back right on here to use later. And then I'm going to use regular size dimensionals on the back of the tailored tag. I really love that tailored tag. You can use it to make banners. You can, because it's got the nice points, you can even use it to make a diamond, which is awesome too. I use that for graduation caps for cards that I sent out about a month ago. So there's all sorts of ways you can use that tailored tag. Here we go. Oh, it's fighting me. Come on. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put this in the middle. So it's quite a different look than last night's card, but that's okay. So there it is, centered on the card. And let me bring in last night's card just so you can see the difference. There we go. All right. So that's different ways to use your nested dies, and also use up your scraps a lot. I mean, we all have a lot of scraps and we're always looking for ways to use them. And this is one way that you can clear out that scrap bin. All right. The next project we did last night was a card that definitely lent itself to using up scraps. So this is the card that we created, and we're going to make something very similar. I already have my white layer that is basically that one, and we're going to layer that on our our Poppy Parade rectangle. And I cut a bunch more rectangles out of my rectangle dies. I just used the 2 largest to make a frame. And we're going to actually cut these up with scissors and layer them across to make a rainbow. All right, now they're all cut up with lots of fibers left over, and I'm going to put adhesive all over this. And then that way, and then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this piece of grid paper because it's going to have lots of extra adhesive and I don't want that to catch. So there we go. I'm going to pull this up and tear this one off, flip it over. We can use that. All right, so now we're just going to go in rainbow order and just lay these next to one another, and then we'll cut off the excess. So this one, I just want to make sure it covers the corner, and then we'll just go red, orange, yellow. And then we'll go green, blue. And for indigo, I'm using the Seaside Spray and then Gorgeous Grape for my purple. Oh, hang on. I just said that, so I grabbed it. All right, so there's red, orange, yellow, green, blue. This one's going to be my indigo-ish. And then my purple. All right, so I'm gonna speed this up and we'll finish off the card. All right, we are set. I know there's a couple little gaps right there. We have a few ways that we can resolve that. And I will show you my little trick after I cut these all off. There we go. All right. So now these two gaps, let me show you what we can do. So I grabbed the coordinating Stampin' Blends, which are our alcohol-based markers, and I'm just gonna use the fine tip, not the brush, and I'm gonna fill in right here. And because they're alcohol markers, they'll dry, they'll spread out, they'll soak in, all that good stuff. You might see a little bit of a dot, but I just find this is a better repair than trying to cut a piece of cardstock and add it in there. And I don't want this to be something that I have to go back and redo completely. So there we go. It just kind of feathers in. All right, now we're gonna put our card together. So I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal, put it around all four sides. Oop. And then I like to make a diagonal swatch as well. And instead of drawing, I think I'm gonna put this down, the little two spots down towards the bottom, because your eye is naturally drawn to the top. And we'll put the greeting up a little higher so that your eye is drawn away from it. I'm just gonna do this one. So it's just the green one at the bottom there. There we go. All right. So now, oops, he's along for the ride. Put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of this. Again, same way that I did the white, or the, sorry, the white backed layer with all the rainbow colors all the way around the edges and a diagonal across. And there we go. All right, so this is today's card and this was last night's card. You can see I cut this down a little bit more, but I added the Seaside Spray in here, and that just gave me enough to really expand this out. Let me show you what we made last night. This is what we made last night. It is a standing case, and you can put all sorts of stuff in. I was really amazed. I saw this pattern from a demonstrator over in the UK. Her name's Sam. And you can put all sorts of stuff in. Now, it will topple if you put a ruler in, which is even taller than these scissors. These feet really make it so that it's very steady, and it's also completely sealed. So when I was putting the scissors in, I wasn't worried that it was getting on my table there. So let me show you how this works. You only need an 8.5 by 8 piece of cardstock and a 6 by 6 piece of designer series paper. This is the Playful Patterns paper, which goes with in the suite with the letters that I used on the other projects at the beginning. All right, so if you remember, if you've been around for a while, the 2, 4, 6, 8 boxes were all the rage way back in the 90s. And We made them all the time, and in the early 2000s. So the 8.5-inch side gets scored at 2, 4, 6, and 8. Then you're gonna turn it to the 8 side, and you're gonna score it at 4 and at 5. And that's all you have to do. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, and 5. So you end up with a long piece, a very short piece, and a medium piece. And now what we need to do is fold. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold the long folds. So I'm just going to, actually, I'm going to fold these back. I'm going to fold them back. I can grab my bone folder in a moment and burnish them. So I'm going to burnish those one at a time. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and then I'm gonna fold, I'm gonna fold this up. And it doesn't really matter which way you go, but you do want a Z fold to happen here. So there we go. So we're gonna Z fold this, and then all of these are just regular. And now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my patterned paper on here. So I'm gonna move this aside. I'm gonna bring my cutter in, or my trimmer, sorry. And we're going to trim the 6x6 piece of paper. So this needs, I need 4 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. So that we're gonna, that's the first cut we're gonna make is 3 3/4. And then I'll get 3 out of this. So they're 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then we can do all of our cutting and gluing at the same time. So like I said, I'm gonna get 3 out of this. There we go. Okay, so there's 3 of the 4 large pieces that I need. I'm gonna save this one because it's gonna be good for the smaller pieces that I need. But now I need this to be 3 3/4. It's much easier to do this if it's a repeating pattern from the single 6x6 because you do end up doing it both ways. I have my 3 3/4 here. So now I'm gonna cut this to 1 3/4. And this little skinny guy is gonna be a leftover. He's too small. So this is my 4th panel for the large pieces. Then I need 3/4, which is exactly what this measures, by 1 3/4. So this is gonna be my first panel for the short, small pieces. And then this is gonna be my second one. So I get 2 from that. And then I just have this little tiny piece of scrap left over. And then from this piece, I can also get 2 more. So I'm gonna cut this off 1 3/4. I don't need this little piece. You end up with 3, maybe 4 pieces left over. So this is 1 3/4. Let me just make sure. Yes, this is the 1 3/4. So now I'm gonna go 3/4. I'm actually gonna use this side. I just find it easier when I'm cutting anything less than 1 inch. I like to use the right side of the cutter. Okay, and then these are both the same. So there's my, actually I end up with 5, but I only need 4. So one of these is also an extra piece. All right, so I have my 4 small pieces and my 4 big pieces. I don't need my trimmer anymore. I'm gonna bring my folded piece back in. I actually like to work on this side because I want this here. It's just the way I've been assembling the box. It doesn't really make a difference, but that's the way I'm gonna do it. So now I just need to, I'm just gonna use liquid glue this time. It's just right here. All right, now we're gonna cut. So we are going to cut this piece completely away. I'm gonna cut all the way up through the medium size portion and the small. And I'm gonna cut this off entirely. And I'm gonna miter right here. And then I'm going to cut just up to that, the bottom of the big section for the other 4. So there's the 4. And then you want this to be the foot. So it's gonna end up like that. So that makes sense. So then what you do is you flip this over, and in these spaces, you just need a strip along each of these. And then what you wanna make sure is that you're coming up and making it like this. So what I do is I make the first one to remind myself, because I know that's the way the foot needs to go. And then I come back in here and I can see that it's like this. So I'll do it one more time. This is the foot, so these 2 fold together and that makes the foot. So these 2 fold together and that makes the foot. Just like that. All right, so now I have my 4 feet, but now I need the box to close. So I'm going to turn my feet down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna close up my box. All right, so this is how the box goes together. And then we're going to close it. You can close it, it doesn't matter if you do 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your box. It's not going anywhere. It will hold all of your things. Oops, maybe you don't put the scissors in first. Maybe we need a couple of things to weight it down. But anyway, it would be really cute with some candies in it. You could use it as a centerpiece with some dried flowers. It's a great little gift box. It's a fun little pencil box to have on your desk. All sorts of things that you could do with this. All right, so here is a recap. These are the 2 boxes that we made. So this was the project for the week. This is last night's, this is today's. And then last night we made this card. Today we made this one. Last night we made this card. And today we made this one. So we make all of these projects on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on Facebook. Hope you can join us next Wednesday. And of course, I will do a replay video to post on Thursday so that you can catch up with what happened. As always, thanks for watching. And if you are new to my channel, thank you for being here. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Just click the little link in the lower right and be sure to ring the notification bell so you know the next time that I post a video. All of the products that I used today are linked in the comments below, so you can check those out. And I will see you in the next video.